Welcome back to another episode of The Money Mentor, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Graham Home, aka Australia's original money mentor, apparently, allegedly. Today, again, we're delving into some real people, no bullshit, no nonsense, nothing up the sleeves. I think it was around 456 maybe people this year in the Infinity family community have paid off their home loans in full to zero. That's right, 456 people. So I think this is really important for people at home that are like, you can't do that, and wah, 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 and cry me a river. Today we're going to talk to some more beautiful human beings that have been an integral part of our community who've actually achieved this themselves, and some of them very close to, who've been able to pay down debt, record rates, acquire multiple investments, property, stocks, bonds, bullshit, just no shitcoin here. Well, maybe some of them, hopefully not. But guys, I want to introduce you to another lovely couple, Adam and Shanai. How are we?
Very well, thanks.
Very good.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Yes.
You're looking
Thank you.
fucking fit, both of you.
Well, that's the 75 hard. It's.
I know, we're about to. Well, I'm deep now. We're day 26 at the moment.
Seen that.
9 kilos down.
Over
Only
Christmas,
just
what are you
found out
doing?
last night. Yeah, we're like, wow, damn. That's
We
good.
decided, rather than all of the hype and the prizes and everything for everyone, we decided for our own selves, which is why we usually do it. We decided to do Live Hard year before we try for kids. So we literally planned it out and went, right, 75 hard, hardest time of the year, our Christmas party. We were sober. And boy, was it a fun Christmas party. Yeah.
That was epic.
It was off the chain.
I'm still dreaming about it.
I know, I want to go back, right? But we decided if we do it now, through the hardest time of the year, no holiday, no break, we come out on the 1st of Feb, 75's done, through Christmas, New Year's, Christmas party, etc. Beck's birthday's the 5th of Feb, and
We always
Valentine's...
start on New Year's Day. So it's always my birthday. We're doing 75 hard. I was like, we're not doing it
And
this
then-
year. We're
And
starting earlier.
then mine's April if we start after New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck it, we're going through, we're stopping on the 1st, we're taking 14 days off. We've got Beck's birthday on the 5th, we get commercial Valentine's Day on the 14th, back into phase 1 on the 15th, so 2 weeks off exactly.
I still expect flowers. Sorry.
I will get Joe to remember. Joe, flowers. And then we'll go 15th of March, Feb to the 17th of March. And then we'll finish phase 1. And then we're in Necker Island with Sir Richard Branson. And then phase 2, we come back, we'll do phase 2 April, May, or whatever. You got to wait 30. And then phase 3 you have to start, which I think is October, November for us before we started this year.
Yeah.
So we're on.
Let's go.
Let's
I'm
go.
excited. Every time the posts come up, leg days. Oh, when you got to do those rear hammies and you're kicking them back, the donkeys.
Yeah.
I get
We did that this morning, actually.
Just seen my calves the other day on the calf thing. I was like, damn, I got calves. This is great.
He's getting the soccer calves back.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're coming
Yeah.
back. They're making a
100%,
comeback.
yeah.
But I wanted to welcome you guys. Also, we have the very, very handsome, astute Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
G'day, how are we?
That's very astute and professional, and don't be nervous.
Yeah,
It's my first time.
first time, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, look, there's obviously been doing it for quite some time, but first time on the podcast.
Okay, well, no pressure. And T-Unit. Hey, Taryn.
What's up?
What's up? And obviously, Beck's already put shit on me, so we know Beck's here as well today. So welcome, sweetheart.
Thanks,
So we've got the whole crew, we've got the whole gang back together. So I wanted to welcome you guys in. Really a couple of things. One, you guys see on social media the amount of fuck knuckle pumps that are like, it's not possible, it's not real, you can't do that. A lot of you, I see you going and defend me all the time, and usually we just block delete now because they're never going to be a client, they're just a fucking whinger. But I really wanted to go through a group of highly successful, beautiful, amazing, successful human beings, part of our community at the end of this year, and then post all these through the holidays so everyone that's sitting at home struggling goes, fuck, if that young couple can do it, maybe we can do it. You know, like you guys, you've heard of Megan or Jeremy or, I don't know, fucking Kerry, or you've heard someone going, oh, maybe I can do, you know, like, and it just makes it real. Like, there's no bullshit about it. So I thought, let's go out with that. Let's talk to some people. So maybe if we can start with you two amazing human beings of where were you before Infinity? Where are we from? What's our background? Go for it. Let's rip in.
So prior to Infinity, we had some investment properties. They were in sole proprietor name. I had them with my brother. And I guess it started as something that was never going to be achievable. You know, we could never achieve that there. And if I share a story to open it up with. So
It depends how emotional it is.
Tissues.
I got tissues here. Okay.
I believe it is. I believe it sets the thing. I believe it brings out us, and it'll be something that goes, okay, we get them, we see them. This is who they are, and this is where they go. So she lost her house to the banks.
Mum.
Mum lost it.
Yep.
She foreclosed on it.
Okay.
Put her in a psychiatric ward.
Wow.
So we lived in a caravan. And I guess you fast forward, she never owned another house again.
Okay.
Um,
Do you think the loss was so damaging and deep that it was just too traumatic?
Yep.
Okay. How many kids?
3.
Okay.
Yep. So we got split up with the family.
Yeah.
We lived in a caravan in the back of Nan's house. And she also just couldn't get work stable after that as well.
Right.
It took everything. It was her first house. She owned it. She was paying it off. And then just interest rates, everything went up. The hardship of the 90s, it was how it ended up.
In the recession we had to have.
Yeah. And so I guess with that being said, when she died, she owed SA Housing Trust $7,000 because we were in housing trust houses, commissions all around.
Right.
There was food stamps. And in her suicide note, it said that she wanted to be buried in a cardboard coffin because it was cheap. And so
Oof.
when I relive that, when I think of that, to me, that's the psychological effect of money isn't the root of all evil. The fucking lack of it is, and it's what you say. And so, for me, when I put that into emphasis, when I realize that psychological effect and how it hit our family, how it fucked it up, like I FTB all the fucking way. Do you know what I mean? I live and breathe on that, and I really think that the institutional way of the banks robbing everyone, it's fucking legal theft. And that brings me to why I bring the emotion, why I bring everything here, why Shanai and I are so passionate, why we believe in the community, because we all see it. We got to fuck the banks. You know what I mean?
They're going to fuck us if we don't fuck
correct.
them. And,
Correct.
And to be clear, we can't really fuck them. We can only fight back.
You can only fight back. Yeah.
Really, that's all we got. So, they're going to sting us 500 grand. Well, we can turn it into 100 or 200. It's the only way we can fight back because we're going to pay something, right?
Yeah.
So, mate, that's I appreciate the honesty here. It's pretty raw and real. That is the absolute upper echelon of how damaging finances or lack of financial literacy or or support or the support around you or the skills or the resources. That's how tough it can be. Mm-hmm. It can't get any worse, mate. No. Like it really can't. So that's pretty traumatic. So how do you then go from growing up similar to me, housing commission, family support, all that sort of stuff, losing loved ones? How do you go from the trauma, the scar tissue, the damage of that to not go, the system's fucked, I'll never own a home, it changes people's lives, it takes people's lives, it's just too fucking hard, I'll just rent forever. How is it that you guys, when we talk about your story, how have you gone the other way? Because you hear someone say, twin boys, I'm a drunk because my dad was a drunk. And you hear the brother go, I don't drink alcohol because my dad was an abusive drunk. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. How is it that you can then take yourself, firstly, before you meet Shanai, and then yourself, how can you go the other way? How can you strive and push for all of that again, having been through that experience with mum and family?
Well, I believe part of it comes through Infinity's community, that the bringing back, I would say that I stood on the brink of abyss. It was total destruction before. My life was up and down. It was cyclical. I never really had total control of it. And I believe it comes back to saying enough is enough. Okay. I've seen the family, the tragedies, the trauma along the way, other families, people struggling all the way through, $300 a year for books was a struggle. Secondhand uniforms were the go. There was no
school books in butcher's paper,
yes.
even if you wrapped them at all.
Yeah,
been there.
You couldn't even get the clear plastic covers for it. Do you know what I mean? And so when I seen that, I thought, never do I ever want my family again to feel like that. Never do I want them to know that hardship. I want them to, earn $1, work $1, but I don't want them to ever wonder where their next meal, where their roof over their head comes from. And so I think there comes a point where you will either, You'll go left or you'll go right. It'll be a breaking point, or it'll be the point you break something.
Do you think that's fair? And I talk about this a bit in one of the other sessions, that when I met Beck, 248 grand of debt, 7 credit defaults, about to go bankrupt, couldn't have even done what I wouldn't have been here today without Beck. I was a fucking I wasn't even a liability. I was like a walking, talking liability billboard with flashing lights.
There's a good human in there.
There's still a good there was a good human in there. Beck just had to fuss and fossick for gold to find it. But you know, I was fucked, right? And do you think there's something in that about not the trauma but the pain? Like, most people don't really even know what pain is. To lose loved ones, to lose homes, to like most people haven't really experienced severe pain or trauma. So I always say this, the old saying, there's 2 reasons you do something: to ease the pain or make a gain, is an old salesman-y bullshit thing. But I think it's true that until you are hungry, like I have been, and got black and gold tin food in the cupboard from the Salvos and Vinnies and stuff, and until you are freezing cold out in the rain on a bench, and until you experience that pain, I don't think people are hungry enough to take a risk or work hard enough to make a gain. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah,
like, everything you're saying to
agree.
me is, you're like, there was so much pain, I had no choice but to make a gain.
Yep.
To stay away from pain, does that make sense? Like, same for, like, I'm so fearful of none that I can't stop.
Yep.
And we have
Completely
more than
agree.
enough, but I'm so fearful of zero that I can't stop.
Yep.
For others even.
Yep. And with that pain and suffering as well, I firmly believe if you can find purpose in it, if you understand it and there is purpose, they say grief is love with nowhere to go. So it is still love.
Yeah.
So if you give that love purpose, you give that grief purpose, as you say, you can't beat someone who doesn't fucking quit.
Yeah.
And to me, that's
I'm too
it.
stubborn and dumb to
Yep.
quit. Beck will tell you that.
Yeah. So having that purpose, having that meaning, life is suffering, but how do you suffer? How do you give that suffering purpose? How do you give it meaning? And for us, it's building a life that we never thought we'd ever have the opportunity to. It's giving that life to our kids. It's making a better future. And we want to be able to give back more than we ever gained.
Okay.
We want to give back tenfold and go, if we can do it, you can do it. Other families can do it too. And we want to be the example that you don't have to be smart. You can be average, but you can fucking do it. You've just got to put your skin in the game and take action.
Well, let's dig into that. So, pretty traumatic background. How long have you guys been together now?
5 years.
Yes.
I was waiting. I knew what was happening.
I started getting hot flushes then because Adam looked
I
at
was gonna
Shanai,
test
she
it.
looked at him like, go on, and you're like, I was like, oh, please get it right.
No, he's actually very good with numbers and remembering.
Okay, 5 years, but I love that you
I
didn't
just wanted
answer.
to. She just played me. I just wanted to see it
Yeah,
play out.
that was well played.
Yeah.
I can tell who the boss is here. All right, so 5 years. So Adam, did you have any property when you and Shanai met? Shanai, did you have any property when you guys met at all?
I had none.
Okay,
no.
none? Okay.
I was still living with mum and dad.
And go back, sorry, yeah, so your upbringing. Mum and dad.
Very different.
Traumatic, rosy.
Pretty good.
Okay.
We never really had any issues with money. Like, we went to private schools and we got new shoes and
Oh,
and all
woe
that
is
kind
me.
of
Fuck
stuff.
it.
So,
Do you ever give
but
a shit, ads?
But I think
Do you ever give a
when-
shit?
Yeah, we do.
So have you seen that
Yeah.
David Beckham Posh Spice interview where she's like, oh, well, Mike's like, and he sticks his head out and goes, tell the truth. What car did your dad drive? And she's like, no, he's like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we're not rich, but just
But comfortable.
well off. Yes,
Yeah,
very comfortable. So I think when I met Adam and learning about his upbringing, it was a big reality check. I was like, oh shit, just a whole nother world that I actually never knew about. About poverty and people that aren't well off, but you don't know them.
Yeah.
So I
Their
guess
stories,
Yeah, the
right?
story. You don't know the stories. So
Yeah.
when talking to Adam about all of his stories, I think it was a big reality check, and I was like, shit, that's we don't want that. Breaking that generational for you, I guess.
Okay.
But in terms of my upbringing, it
So
was
pretty good?
Pretty good.
Okay,
yeah.
but no home, living at home with mum and dad?
Yes,
By the way, how old are you guys?
34.
26.
26, 34, similar age gap. Okay, yeah. So you got her while she was young enough before she knew any better. Is that what?
Yeah.
That's what
Yep.
Beck says all the time, right? She actually said it to my PT this morning. He goes, "Oh, what's the age gap?" Beck's like, "I was 21. He got me before I knew any better." I was like, "Oh shit!"
I was 21 too.
It was, 21.
Yeah, there you go. So obviously 2 different stories, 2 worlds collide. Adam, what was your position when you met? So Shanai's at home with mum and dad, it's pretty rosy. Where were you from where you've come from when you guys met 5 years ago?
Yeah, I was on the floor at home sorting through my second court case. At 2 a.m. in the morning, and Shanai came over to help me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in this very dark place. I was fighting for my properties.
Yeah.
Because I was fighting a divorce that wasn't mine. I did the thing of investing with family.
Yeah.
And that family was going through divorce.
Right.
And then, it was
So
my
you
brother.
Pulled resources
Pulled
together.
resources to get ahead. That was our goal. That was our dream. That's what we were going to do. We wanted to get some investment properties because it was something that we never thought possible.
Yep.
Unfortunately, throughout the divorce, my brother passed away. He took his life. And then obviously being probate courts and all the rest of it, I had to go through that because of the proprietors. We met during that, and I was trying to fight for sole survivorship, trying to pay the banks.
So you've had massive loss and massive trauma multiple times.
Correct. Yes. There hasn't been too many years without it. As I said, infinity in the community the last 18 months, it brought me back from the brink of something that I didn't know was possible. I always credit and say, you gave me the greatest gift of all. That was the gift of life.
Well, jeez. Okay, that's a bit heavy. Anthony, Tarrant, somebody take over. Ooh, mate.
Well, I think we're all on the same boat.
I think I am the greatest gift, right?
There's the competition, Shanai.
I am the greatest gift.
Sorry.
Second, sorry, Graham.
We're the second.
Yeah.
We'll gladly come second to
We'll be the second. I'm very happy to come second. Okay,
No, she was a shining star. She brought me so much immense joy when we first met. It was the first time I'd probably seen light in a long time. And then, we clicked. We worked through the cases. And, Shanai supported me all the way, but it was very much the finances. They were a burden. Finances were a fucking burden.
Well, especially when you're fighting it, and you've got the loss of your brother now, and you're fighting tooth and nail for what,
so
twos?
22nd of March was when we cremated him, and the 5th of April was the letter filed against me. So there was no grievance. And it was big. I had to file a letter to the coroner's office to have an inquisition into his passing.
Jeez.
I fought a lawsuit in Darwin and the AFCA Tribunal in Victoria.
And all done now?
All done, all finished.
Yep.
I'd scorched the earth for that, but I'd like to say that I got out with victory. Yep.
Okay.
Just like the bank's FTB.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Financial.
This is deep.
Yeah.
This is deep.
It was quite the financial burden, and that's what I just love it, because finances were a burden. Dealing with rates, mortgages, refinancing, having to just rent, income, real estate agents, the whole fucking lot was just a burden.
Right.
And you guys brought Shanai into that fold. Do you know what I mean? She didn't have any properties. There was no home loans against us.
Yeah, well, let's go back for a second. So we've got some context there. Pretty rosy, extremely traumatic.
Yeah.
Only young, right? You said 34 and 26. You guys studied? What's your background for work and all that sort of stuff? Just to give context to people.
Production supervisor in mining.
Mining, yep.
And personal trainer.
Personal trainer, yep. So you've just finished another degree or diploma?
Yeah, bachelor's organisational leadership.
Right. Because I've seen when you've been out on site and away, and I've seen you training and doing this and very active in our community, and then more degrees and more bachelors of this. And I'm like, you guys are so young, but you've achieved so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild, like multiple businesses and this and that and studies. So you're not dodos, right? So you're still studying, you're still running businesses, you're still working in businesses and still employed. So when we started the journey and all of this other stuff sort of ended, what was the financial position? Were you guys living together, renting? Was there a property, couple of proproperties? What was the position? So you moved out from mum and dad? I'm assuming you guys live together now
Yes.
for people at home?
Yeah. We were living together.
Married, engaged?
No, not yet.
Put a ring on it, bros.
You can hear if you like it, should have put a ring.
Adam had a couple of properties, like you mentioned before. He acquired a few with his brother.
Yeah.
So we managed to keep them with all the court cases. So we had we had those, but they were all in Adam's name, so nothing under my name.
Okay.
I owned my car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of properties,
Yep.
all with mortgages and debt, I'm assuming.
A couple paid off.
Yeah, a couple
Two,
paid
yep.
off. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So a couple paid off. And what was the plan when you first started together, pre-Infinity, and just as we started Infinity? What was the plan? What had you been doing financially?
Well, I'd gone to the banks because obviously Adam having the properties before, I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'll get an investment property. It looks like fun.
Pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Minus
And-
the court cases and the trauma.
Yeah. Well,
we
yes.
were excited. It was our first big step. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? As a couple, we were together. We started living together, and we were like, let's, I don't know, next thing from putting a ring on it, right? Let's get a mortgage together. Let's get a debt pledge.
Yeah.
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 I was like,
Harder
I know how I
divorce than
can
it
lock
is
him
to
down.
refinance.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'd gone to the banks and given my numbers and all that, and they turned me down. And then we said, oh, well, what if we joined finances and got a property together? And the bank manager actually said to me, no, you will fuck Adam's borrowing capacity.
How long ago was this?
2022.
2022. It was
Yeah.
6 months. Yeah, they
Yeah.
called me a
Yeah,
liability.
she was a liability.
Yes, that is correct. But
A
it was about
liability.
6 months before we found Infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been told you're a liability
Yep.
by a local bank.
Yep.
Bendigo. Sorry. Yep. Okay. Cool. So a local bank told you you're a liability. You'll fuck Adam's capacity. Forget about it. 6
Yes.
months before we met.
Yep.
Okay. I want to fast forward and then come back. How many properties do we have today?
I don't know. What have we got?
We have 6 investment properties today.
6 investment properties today.
7 technically. We've got the other.
Oh, is it 7? Okay, 7.
7 investment properties today.
Okay. Now let's go back. So by the way, boys and girls, you're listening in at home, personal trainer, mining supervisor, obviously decent incomes. Personal training, you're kind of capped because time, dollars, online clients,
Yes.
physical clients, classes, etc. There's only so much you can do in a day.
Without going crazy.
Yeah, and trying to sleep because
Yes.
you're up at 3 or 4 a.m., which is never, ever fucking natural, by the way. Beck's background's the same. She's like,
Yeah.
It was never normal to get up at 3 or 4 every day.
I've been doing
Neither
it
in mining.
for 5 years, and people go, oh, but you should be used to it by now. No.
You never get fucking used to it.
Never.
It's dark when you wake up.
It's
You
the
feel
middle of the
hungover and you're
night.
sober.
Yes.
And then you train people, and then you're still going at night.
Yep.
And mining's no different when you're getting out to site. You're up at Sparrowfart. You're eating with everyone. You're on site. Long 10, 12-hour shifts
And
at
then I'm
least.
Studying the degree in the background, so I was up most nights. Yeah, I'd actually go back to the office. I had the card swiping. I'd work from the office till 9 or 10 o'clock because I'd be studying.
Just
And then I'd
wild.
head back. 4 a.m. wake up and get ready for work.
And still get jacked and train.
Yeah, still get my training in.
You
Correct.
slept like an hour a night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 to 5 hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
4 to 5. Okay, wow. I know what that feels like. So, now it's kind of 7 properties in this transaction at the moment. 7 properties. Let's go back now. So we meet. The bank says, unnamed bank, says Shanai's a liability. You'll fuck Adam's capacity. You can't do it. That was 6 months pre-Infinity. So then, where to from there till you find us? What was the plan? How did you find us? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we went to David Goggins
Oh, yeah.
in Melbourne.
The Melbourne, yeah.
With
That's.
the Melbourne
I
one.
didn't even pitch it that one.
Nah.
But
there
I
was no
fucking
pitch.
ripped into him when I come out on stage. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oi, sit down."
That was
was
the
good.
best.
Oh, mate, getting
That was
up to
so
leave, you're just like, "Oi, sit down."
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It
I was like,
great.
what if Dave's out back now? Because they were saying, "We want Goggin."
Yeah.
I remember Beck rang me. She's like, "I don't know what you're going to do, but it better be fucking spectacular." As I was walking from the green room with Joe.
Yep.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she turns the phone around, and you can just hear Goggin, because I think
It's the
that
only time I've ever been scared for you.
yeah.
when you're trying to sell steak knives and that on the person before, and you're thinking, "Hang on here, where?"
Well, the
where-
sales pitch
Yeah.
before me went for like, no, he had a clock up, right?
Yeah.
I remember I was looking at, and this clock was up for like 45 minutes. He was selling for
Yeah.
45 of 90 minutes. And I was like, and it went beyond time, so they shortened me. So I had less time. Like, I just got to give value here. Like
Do you know
that's-
what? When they started chanting, I was a little bit scared for you too, and I had no idea who the fuck you were.
I
I was like,
so-
oh, this poor guy.
I was so
no
scared.
one wants him.
But
I
in-
was sweating.
those minutes where you say you've got to give value, that was it for us. It was the value.
Right.
It was in that moment in the crowd when we were there, and I was that classic barefoot investor, wrong foot investor, 15 bank accounts. We had money spread everywhere because as sophisticated humans that aren't really fucking structured, we were like, oh, the best way to save more money is open another bank account. Said so in the book.
Yeah.
So I was open another bank account, you know, and pay your credit card out in full. So I had 2 credit cards as well. You
And
run
actually-
those flybys, run those cards.
While you were talking on stage, we like had our phones out and we were like, oh, what have we got? Like, how many bank accounts have you got? How
So
many have you got?
so what I was going through, you were like, oh shit.
In
Oh,
real
shit,
in
or you
real
were
time.
fact checking.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, we were in real time. We were checking it.
Because
And
we had
Yeah.
separate finances as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had separate finances. I had a dead arm because you were like, put your hand up. Who has offsets? Offsets are great. I was like, yeah. And you're like, bullshit. I was like, and it's like, cash is king. She's like, oh, you've got cash in the drawer. I was like, yeah. You're like, cash is trash. I was like,
Literally everything that you said.
it was just shredding me in the crowd, and I was sitting there going, holy fuck. Like, that was for me. I was like, there's a blueprint of financial literacy right there, and it was free knowledge. And once you've been given that knowledge, you can't unknow it.
That was
you know what I
actually
mean?
weird for me because it was so heated.
Yep.
They were so late, and I was before Goggins. And I'm like, all right, I've got a shortened time now. What do I do? I'm going to have to go out and do something fucking valuable or funny or combine the two. And I'm going to have to not sell. This is like a keynote now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I don't think the promoters like at all because they take half of the money at least so that you're on stage. That's why they invite you really besides the value. And I remember at the end, I actually got a standing ovation. I was like, stop it. That's where I first did the stop. And I was like, this is pretty fucking... I went from like being booed off stage to like fucking standing ovation. And I was like, yeah, well, if you think I can help you, fuck, I don't know. There's some sale. Just fucking go see someone in a red shirt, blue shirt, whatever it was. And I remember for ages getting this standing ovation. I'm like, this is cool. Like, this feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, feels like you've given value.
Yeah. Adam was out of the chair so quick.
The value was well received.
You must have been fighting David Cherry jumping from the rafters.
Definitely.
Now he's a good mate.
Well, when we had the bank accounts up, we actually found $250,000 just spread across all over the place.
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting because some people listening to this go, oh, well, fucking 250 grand, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously you had assets that were sold and I'm assuming some sort of insurance and super payouts and, you know, from passing a family. So it's not that you guys had a head start for any exciting reason, by the way, for people at home going, oh, I don't relate to that. But yes, having cash everywhere is pretty bad, right? Because cash is trash unless you're utilising it. So let's fast forward. So you're one of the first people, you're like, fuck, this guy's just pumped me. And there was no sales pitch except if you think I haven't pissed you off and you want my help, go find someone somewhere at a table, I don't know, fuck whatever.
Yeah.
And got a standing ovation. So you guys obviously run to the table, signed up.
Well, Adam did.
Yeah.
Because the banks had said no. So I was like, I'll support you on your journey,
Because-
but I've got no use. I'm like, looks cool, but there's nothing I can
I'm
do.
a liability.
Yeah, I'm a liability.
I'll just sit here and be a liability.
Because at the time we didn't quite understand, we didn't know the backdrop of Infinity. You know what I mean? It was sort of we'd scratched the surface, and I knew the knowledge had just changed me in that instance. I couldn't go back.
So
I
you couldn't
thought-
unlearn what you
no.
just heard.
So I thought, well, I need to learn more of this. Do you know what I mean? I have a thirst for that knowledge. I need to understand.
Yeah.
So when I signed up, and this was the greatest thing for us, I signed up, I met the team, I had the first interview, it was a Zoom, I remember the staff, and one of the first things they said was, do you have a partner? And I said, well, yeah. And they said, well, where is she? And I was like, well, she's at work. And this was the onboarding process.
Yeah.
And I said, well, she's at work. And they said, why is she not here? I'm like, well, she doesn't have any property, you know, the liability. But I said, everything was in sole name. So all the finances were mine. I said, and we understand this, but it's all the assets of mine. So she wasn't involved. She has nothing. And it was that key moment when the team said, well, if she doesn't join, neither do you. You're a client, she's a client, or you're not. And it was that moment for us that I go, holy shit, it's relational, it's not transactional. You didn't give a fuck about my money.
No.
You didn't even know my position. The fact that you said, either Shanai's a client or you're not was groundbreaking.
You hear me say this a lot at events, and you guys have been around for a long, like, and you hear it, I think like, so you motherfuckers share bodily fluids and bills, but you don't share your bank accounts. And they're like,
Yep.
and like, does anyone else think that sounds fucking stupid?
Our first REM when you said that, I was like, that's us. And we were just like, we're pulling it. So in the instance, I was like, just give me a second. So I had to like text Shanai. I was like, hey, so I've got this thing, like I need you to sign. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, we're joining finances.
Yeah, wow.
It was that powerful for me that for everything that I'd gone through, if you think about dealing with the lawsuits, the court cases, my
States,
fear
everything.
of joint finances was through the
I
roof.
was
That
gonna say you've just been
emotional
fighting
yes.
from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So-
a huge mental block to overcome.
Yep. And I didn't have to think twice. I would deal with it later because I knew what you were delivering was so fucking powerful that it would change so many lives that I did not care. I thought, I will stow my shit because I know where we can be, and I know that I ain't the smartest person in the room, so I'm going to listen to someone who is.
Wow, that's a journey. So today, 6 going on to 7 properties. Any debt on the home?
No debt on the home.
No debt on the home. No home loan debt.
No
okay.
home loan debt.
And we've been doing this now. So Goggins was Jan or Feb 23. Feb 23. Yep. Okay. So let's fast forward then from all the properties and everything. So now you've got, each time you're purchasing a property, you're restructuring, you've got Anthony structuring all the finances. How pivotal is it to have somebody that understands how to get, not 1 or 2, but for 4, 5, 7, how critical is it to have someone alongside you that knows where to place it, how to place it, the sequence of each transaction? How important's that?
It's unreal. I remember when we went to our first REM, which was only, I think, 8 weeks since
Yeah, you
we
guys broke
joined.
all the rules, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually remember sitting down at dinner Friday night and I turned to Adam, I said, what the fuck are we doing? It was wild.
I think everyone says that on Friday. You don't know, you know,
Yeah.
who's like here and you haven't really been on all the things and you're without you, and you're like, got a bit of
Yeah.
shrink the pugger. And they're like, half the room's and I go, who's like, I'm not fucking doing anything. I'm not buying anything. And everyone's like, yeah, half the room. And what's my natural reaction? We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
And people look at me like, what a fuckwit. And then I've got people coming up to me going, I just bought 5 properties and you've changed our life. And it's like, we'll see. So I get a bit emotional, but it's interesting to help people overcome that shit. But so that's pretty powerful. Anthony, what's it like when you're sitting down with a couple and you're like, okay, well, we're here? And how important is it to get that backstory we've just heard before you start trying to sell, tell, instruct and advise?
Yeah, well, look, the client journey to start with is really the biggest thing, because if you don't understand who your client is, how you're going to help them professionally to move forward. Yeah. It's all about, sharing, being honest and open, because I always say the joke, well, look, I need to understand what, ply toilet paper you use, right? If I can't figure that out, how am I going to...
It's definitely a fucking 3 or 4 ply.
Yes.
I don't care about budget life. It's got to be multiple ply.
It tells a lot about a person, I think, anyway. But look, getting the honest... If you can't figure out who they are as people to start with, it's never going to work. 'Cause you've got to be really, really honest and open with financials, understanding what they want to do to move forward too, because, people's lives change. And it's not always going to be, let's just say rainbows and lollipops, I suppose, is it, right? So, and I think Adam and Shanai, to start with, we always still joke about this every time we get to restructure something. It's like, oh, Shanai, you better sign here because, you're the liability. We need that signature right there.
So you got the assets column on the application, and then the liability, you go, Shanai, fuck off, whoever that bank was. Yeah.
But I see it all the time with people that come through and they've been told no over and over again. And they come to us thinking that it's going to be the same thing.
They're just hoping.
Correct. And being able to see people change when you can turn that no into a yes quite easily, it's such a fulfilling thing, right, in itself.
Well, let's jump to that. How did it feel for each of you when a no liability turned into a, yes, we fucking can. It's got to be done this way, but.
It was liberating. It was powerful. It's where I always credit and say Anthony works the magic behind the scenes. He's the invisible hand that we feel everywhere in the most positive way, because
I was a bit worried then. I thought you were going to start telling me my staff were touching people.
No, because we know he's got our backs. We know he knows the numbers, he's structured. If he says that we can do it, we know we can do it.
We can do it, yeah.
So we're not going in it alone. It's the connection that's built. And we have such a good connection. We have banter outside. We talk shit. And I believe that is pivotal. You have to have the relationship. And we have a close relationship, so we trust Anthony, we trust the Infinity team.
Yep.
And so when we went from having the you can't borrow, you fuck the serviceability, it's a dampener. It's throwing a wet blanket on a fire.
Yeah.
But then you've got Anthony on the other side. It's like, Fuck no. You know,
It can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
It's just you're not getting sold product A and B anymore. We're
Yeah.
going to fucking pull
We've
this
got all
apart.
these
We got these other
options.
products. We have options for you. Have I got a deal for you? We'll fucking sort it out. And so when he does, we have the confidence. And now it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Now it's easier than clicking eBay and go and click and collect.
So Shanai, how did that? So for you, it was liberate, and this woman's been through hell and back with you and supported you, stood by your side. You've been told, and all of a sudden it's like, yes, you can. How did that feel for you?
It was pretty wild, actually, to just even thinking about it now, and still nearly 2 years later. But at our first REM, being given 2 properties straight away.
Yeah.
And I remember, I didn't actually read any of the documents, but I just signed them. I trust Adam, he trusted you guys, so I was like, all right, I'll just click here. It was so easy.
I'll fucking blame him later if
But
it doesn't work.
once it was done, and it's like, oh, congratulations. And Adam said, wait, did we just buy a property? And he corrected me very quickly. He's no, we bought 2. And I was like, what the?
I've got the numbers on those 2 already.
Oh, I know.
They're looking pretty good.
Crazy. And in terms of like setting the budget, it is actually very liberating. I was a very good spender. Get that from my mum. Thanks, Mum.
Okay.
So I thought that was going to be really challenging.
And is that what spending? Activewear, food, entertainment, what on?
Yeah.
What is
Nailed it on
everything?
the first one.
Activewear.
Activewear?
I had so much activewear. Oh, not good.
Okay.
It was a bit of an obsession.
Okay.
But it was the in thing, right? Working in the gyms, you got to have
Yeah.
the latest.
You got to have the matching
set.
set, and you got to have the this set, the
Always.
that set.
If I was getting the leggings, I was getting the crop top.
Right.
Yes. So
I don't know how I'd go in a crop top. But yeah.
after 75 hard, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
No, but it was, when we sat down and went through our budget, I thought I was going to be like, oh, I don't want to do it. But it was when you have the purpose and you know why, the reason why you're doing it, it's been so easy.
So now that you got a budget, you got the first 2, then you got more. So now we're on to 7 now. Is it liberating? So is a budget restricting you guys, or are you actually doing everything you want to do? Because I see you guys doing stuff and out and about, and like, is it restrictive or is it abundant?
No.
It's abundant.
Yeah.
It has dirty connotations, but it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because if you have the right structure in place and
Yep.
your money is working for you, you have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want outside of that. Because your money is working for you. You know what it's doing. You know what you've got. But you need to understand delayed gratification as well and live below your means.
Yeah.
You know, you
Nailed
stick
it.
to that budget every week, and the end of it, you can do what you want, because you will build that wealth where you want to take a holiday. You've knocked 90 grand off your house in 12 months. Fucking take the holiday if it's 3
And
or
it
4
ain't
grand.
barley on the bing tangs. It's something
Yeah,
nice.
It's something nice. Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to jump for a second to T-Unit. So you help Adam and Shanai manage the day-to-day, right? So you're their relationship manager. I guess you'd call it like your personal trainer for your finances, that's right? It's like, what did you eat for lunch today? Did you do this? How many fucking steps did you do today? Fuck off. So it's kind of like the voice of reason, but it's that support that we all, need in some capacity, because not all of us are regimented to stick to the framework. So how important do you guys find it to have someone to be like, hey, we need to do this, or hey, how do we structure that once Anthony's done his bit? How important and critical is that to have someone actually, because let's be clear, any of the other transactions, I'm assuming back in the day, bank or broker, you got the loans with family or you got the loans, transaction occurred, it's settled, you'd never fucking talk to them again. I doubt. Maybe an email from a software program at Christmas. Or
Only if you missed a payment.
if you missed a payment, yeah.
I think that's what sets Infinity above everything else, because you've got the relationship with everybody, and not even just your team like Anthony and Taryn, but just the other clients.
Yeah.
Like connecting on social media, you catch up like at the Christmas
event,
party,
yeah.
like everyone just gives each other big hugs and how you going?
Not that
And-
anyone recognised each other at the Christmas party.
We all looked pretty
I was even
different.
able to hide for a while under my sunnies and hat and jersey.
Yeah.
Having Taryn there, like, she's the glue that holds those parts together. You know, when we get to communicate and talk, which is always official, unofficial, we'll be chatting, we're on Instagram, she's always there. She's like that support person every day, checking in, and that's how we built that relationship, because you reach out, you form those connections, and then there's this bond that we're friends. We know there's jobs to do in the background, but that's not our first. When we talk with Taryn, we don't think our relationship manager's calling us. Our
It's your
relationship
mate.
manager. Yes,
It's our BFF.
it is. And you should see it.
For real.
Yeah. Next to Taryn's name, there's balloons, there's infinity symbols, there's love hearts. It's just emojis.
Right.
Because that's how we see it. We appreciate her so much because of the work she
I'm
does.
going to
She
get
keeps
emotional
us in the
again.
loop.
There's too much going on here today, guys.
There's updates. There's something that's like, hey, did you know about this special? Or she'll put some links together that might do, discounts on shops, something for the week, the festive season, how to stick within your budget. And so we communicate on that, and it's self-evolving, it's self-building.
Yeah.
So we work through that, and then we'll have banter around it. Do you know, did you do this? Did you stick to the budget this week? Did you know there was a discount here? I'm telling you, it's the 3rd reduced sale at Coles this week. You've got to get on it.
So Taryn, jump in here. This doesn't sound like you're just doing a job for these guys. You're not ticking a box. You're not sending a report. You're not just responding to queries. This sounds a bit deeper. Fill us in here.
You're gonna crack me.
Okay. Well, Adam's already fucked all of
Yeah,
us. So.
literally, we're all in it now.
Yeah,
so.
we're in deep.
I
Just give
think
it
it's
an onion.
just because I genuinely care. Like, before I was their relationship manager, I'd met you guys at REMS and we had clicked instantly. So
Yep.
when I had come in as their relationship manager, and just for some perspective of the aura that they carry, I'll be at a REM and I've got clients here buying their investment properties. It's all exciting and I'm trying to talk to my clients and I'm like, where are they looking? And they're looking at these two. Like, they just want to get and talk to them. So the Infinity community is just all about them and stuff as well. So I think, and that's just where the trust comes in as well. And we have some really good conversations even at the last REM, and it's it's not just me as their relationship manager. We're friends. You can tell how much knowledge that they both carry and relay that to me as well, on a
Yep.
personal level. So it's just the care.
Okay. Then we got some good team. Getting emotional.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
You hear my voice?
Yeah, I know.
Don't
Don't
look
crack.
at
Don't. Hey, try being on stage like me when we talk about shit, and then I look at the Kmart thing, and I'm like, anyway, big teddy bear. How we touched on this before, Beck. You were talking about the community, yeah?
Yeah, how important do you think this environment and this community is along the journey? Because most people get their home and they get maybe 1 or 2 investments if they're lucky, and that's sort of the norm. How important is Infinity to getting you beyond, that just 1 or 2?
I think the conversations that the community have to each other are not necessarily, they're not conversations that you can talk to your family and friends, talking about money and building wealth. It's still very taboo.
Yeah.
So being able to come to these events and go, how many properties did you buy? Oh, we got 3. Oh, cool. We got another one. And everyone's just so supportive. There's no, why can't I get that? Or why are you allowed? Everyone's
I've already
just
refunded
supportive.
all of them. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, so everyone just gels and connects and can have that conversation, which just wants you to keep going. It's just...
I love hearing that on the boat where I can hear everyone just sharing all their finances and it just makes me so proud.
I can't even help my own family to listen to me write about this and give them...
But you can guide someone else to get to 6 or 7.
Yeah, and this is the thing that is really powerful about the community, right? Because everyone is in a like-minded situation and they're happy to share. And, it's crazy, right? Who else out there lets their clients mingle together when there's financial transactions?
Yeah, I had someone message me on Insta the other day and they're like, you're telling me you put 300, 400, 500 people in a room together and go off and have dinner and I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? They're like, but what if one of them's pissed off? I'm like, they'll fucking tell me and I'll fix it. Or they'll tell Anthony or they'll tell and they're like, yeah, but no business is perfect. I'm like, fuck, we're far from perfect. But whenever there's a problem, we just own it. I'm a big boy, right? We'll undo it, we'll fix it, I don't understand, and I think because Australia's got a fucked up, tall poppy syndrome. But it was interesting because I asked someone before I got emotional, and I'm not saying, if you guys were not in the Infinity community this afternoon, how would you go?
I'd be devastated. Is there a world? Is there a world where we're not?
No.
You know what I mean? No,
we are getting our 25-year life badge.
Yeah, I've told you. 25-year life badge.
Yeah, okay.
But I look at it and go, do you know, besides churches and parishes and community, where else are communities like this? They're in the fucking history books. And they're in there because in the day they're around shared purpose. They worked together, they bled together, they fought together. They had a common goal, which was what's good for the hive is good for the bee.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the other way around.
Yeah.
And tall poppy syndrome is example of that. And in a society that everyone's to tear each other down,
Yeah.
you just build a community that has a shared purpose, has a goal, has a transparency and the confidence and the love to talk to each other, to share the ups and downs that they have personally. We're all on a common purpose, and it's to FTB.
Yeah.
And so that's where that communityship comes in.
Yeah.
I know when I look left and look right, I've either got David, I've got Jackie, I've got Anthony, I've got Taryn, I've got everyone around who wants to share and carry my success.
I think there's no jealousy either. No one ever looks at you guys. It's like, oh, you've got 7 and I've only got 2.
They're
Like
happy for
everyone's
you.
They're so
genuinely
happy.
happy for
You know
you.
what? I mean,
and
they
it's,
secretly strive to one up you.
oh,
but
sure,
they're
they
happy.
aspire to it, but
Yeah.
there's no jealousy among anyone. It's
No.
great.
And when you see someone for the first time come out of their one-on-one, and you're like, have you had your one-on-one? Did you go shopping? And you see them coming out of those doors, and you can't make that look up.
Yeah.
They are in that moment in pure bliss.
And the dinners and and the thank yous and the Christmas party. So I come off stage, it's like, don't worry about 300-400. Put fucking 1,500 people in all of SeaWorld for a fucking night, and then see who can play. I can't explain the amount of you stopped us from getting divorced. You saved our marriage. Our children this. You fixed. And I'm like, we didn't do shit. We just put a plan together. You paid for it too, by the way. We're not one of these, oh, we're free, the bank fucking pays us. We're professional services. We charge a fee, but then we reinvest most of that fucking fee back into our community, which I think other businesses struggle with. But it's like, hey, you give us the money and we're going to disperse it across your event and Dr. Wilson and your learning and your, and I think that's a key difference too.
Unlimited bread rolls.
Always unlimited.
And the butter.
Always unlimited bread and butter.
Yeah.
Or I lose my shit at the events, right? Because you're all waiting around and you're hungry. I'm like, bread, butter.
Why aren't the glasses full?
Yeah, I'm always blowing up about something. A little bit of a perfectionist, right? But yeah, it's really weird. But I think that there is a real lack of community in most businesses in 2024 globally. I think that we all want to be part of something. And I think we're blessed and fortunate enough to go, cool, we're not a church, we're not a cult, we're not a tribe, it takes a village to raise a child, but we are definitely some sort of village or tribe or community that we all want to lift each other up, we all want to give back, we raised over 200 grand for the Salvo's Kmart Wishing Tree appeal. You guys probably don't know, while we were there that day at the counter, and it's not on the news or anything yet, I'm sure it'll leak, Beck and I paid off all of the Rubina store lay-bys, 35 grand.
Oh, wow.
So I'm I'll show you an email offline in a minute.
both.
I've got goosebumps.
I'll show you an email offline in a minute when we're not on this because I'll cry. But of families that actually came to our old office at Robina, going through bankruptcy, cancer, you name it, $200 of outstanding lay-bys has changed their life. That's now Christmas food.
Yeah.
Like we grew up, shit and we didn't do that for, hey, look at us. I mean, this is going to get published well beyond anyone knowing about it. But for Beck and I, we were like, what's your lay-bys this year? And they were like, oh, it's 35, 36 grand. It's not for, we didn't put in the news that day. No one knows. They're just going in to pick them up and they're being told. Do you know what I mean? They're going in to pay or make another payment and they're told, no, you can take it today. Super cool undercover shit, right? But they're all asking who. And we said, look, you can tell them if you want to, but you don't need to. But getting these emails and calls, and this lady went to our old office and then rang and spoke to Jean, and everyone's in tears. But in 2024, if you're not Afterpay, Zip Pay, credit card or cash, lay-by, I remember as a child, Mum and I trying to lay-by, open Christmas lay-bys from mid-year and paying them off. And I remember going back with her and she put it up and there was 3 toys and I had to put 2 back to get money for food on the table and we kept paying off the other one. Some full, deep shit, you know what I mean? If families are still lay-buying in 2024, they're hanging on by a thread. So to those people, Merry Christmas from all of us. But I think it's important that we lack a sense of community. There's too much pull everyone down to make yourself feel good. You guys see it on my socials sometimes.
Well, when's the last time you called a bank and didn't get put on hold for an hour?
Yeah.
You ring us, or you ring any of them, and they'll all answer you straight away.
Yeah,
So.
or complaining about fees or getting shit service or no one gives a fuck. I think it's really important, and that's what I've been asked. Beck's been asked a lot of people, how important is it? And I think it's probably more critical, just as critical as the 50-50, the advice we give to get the results we get. but the community we've created where you all support and share and not advise it, but help each other overcome our own bullshit. Because that's what it is. We're all fucked. When you realize all human beings are really fucked up, it's just our depth that varies. And when you can help pull people out of that and they go, well, fuck, if you can do it, I can do it, that's pretty special.
Absolutely.
That's very
It
special.
definitely comes down to the people. Like, we can come up with the best plan in the world for you, but if you don't follow it, it's nothing we can do.
His biggest word right at the end of everything. Once we set it all up, only you can fuck it up from here.
It's true.
That's such a truth.
If I break 75 hard and go get a fucking zinger box, it's me that fucks it up, not my PT. I'm not going to do that, by the way. I'm on. Fucking.
Not that you were thinking about a zinger box.
Yeah, I was thinking about zinger box, but anyway, but it's not going to happen. I was just at the Christmas party, everyone was coming up there, was on 75 hard, and they're waving burgers in front of me and vodkas, and I'm like,
Did you see the guy that had the clock with 6 hours hard written on it?
yes.
I
Yes.
loved it. Yeah.
But everyone was doing that to me. I'm like, you're not going to fucking break me. Like, I've had worse. You're not going to break me. And they're like, but don't you just want to sip? And I'm like, not really. But I think that's important too for everyone's financial journey. Like, if you're going to do it, fucking do it. You can't be half like, you're in or you're out. You know what I mean? Like, but guys, I just want to celebrate you, celebrate the team, everything you've achieved. Wanted to thank you for being such an active part of the community, because you guys really are helping other people. Like, when other businesses would never put 1,500 clients together or do an event, you know what I mean? Because there's always pissed off people. If we put people in a room and there's 50 pissed off people, sweet, vent it, share it, let's work through it, let's fix it. Or you can say fucking nothing and be pissed off. And if that's the case, it's probably a you problem. You know what I mean? Like, you do you, boo. Because they're literally in their own fucking head or they don't understand it. If you've got a problem, speak up and work through it, right? But you guys are really playing an integral part in the community and helping others like someone helped you before. So I want to say thank you for that, because that's really special. But I did want to end, what would you say, random person jumps on the Money Mentor podcast or YouTube, haven't seen you before on socials, haven't met you, they're not a client in our community. What feedback, advice, guidance would you give to them so they're not just reading Wrong-Footed Investor and fucking up 250 grand a bank account? So they're not, being told by a bank, know your reliability and giving up. Like, what guidance could each of you give to someone who watches this go, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Maybe I can hear a yes instead of a no. What would you share with people out there that aren't getting the right advice? I know there's a lot to cover there, but helicopter.
I think that they've got to understand that they've got to take the action. Do you know what I mean? That the advice they've been given doesn't always necessarily be the right advice, especially if it's from an institution. So they would have to approach with an open mind and understand that it is a contrarian way. Understand that everything you are taught throughout your life and the motherhood statements, you need to be open to the possibility that could be bullshit. And that there is a reason by design you are where you are. And that through that, if you sit, if you listen, if you understand the information and you approach with an open mind, like, your fucking world will change.
Okay.
They have to be willing to take the action, though. You can give the information, but if they're not willing to change, if they're not willing to do something different, if you're not willing to go for the life that you want, then you've got to settle for the life that you've got.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah. It might be hard now, but it will make things easier later on.
26, 27 sets of activewear or 7 properties?
All the properties.
All the and then the properties can pay for all the activewear.
Yeah.
Okay. And where to from here for you guys? Where do you see yourselves? So what are we, Feb 23? So we're only, nearly 2 years into this in a couple of months' time. Nearly 2 years in this. Where do you see yourselves in another 2 years?
So much can happen.
Did you see yourselves at 6, 7 properties in under 2 years?
No.
No way.
We tried and planned, and we thought of a 10-year goal that we could achieve on our own, and you smashed it in 18 months.
We tend to do that.
Yeah. But in 2
Wherever
years,
you think we can go, take us there. Like,
What do you reckon,
Yeah.
Ant? Taran?
Well, this is that's a really, really hard one. But look, these guys just keep smashing their goals every time. Like, they set a goal, and then it feels like only 6 months in, we're changing it again. So these guys, credit to their own empire that they've built, right? Because structure is such a big thing. But look, I really hope that we can push that up to, say, another, up to 10, right, in that stage. I know that's a big number, but I know these guys, once they're given something, they're so motivated and driven with what's in front of them that they'll absolutely smash it.
Okay, what do you reckon, T?
Oh, totally agree. You have one conversation with them and you're ready to run through a wall of like just motivation.
You are,
like,
or they are?
I am after talking to them. Like, it's true. Like,
Who's paying who here? They should be paying you.
well, that's the thing. I think that's why we have such a good relationship. It's not one-sided. It's like they give just as much and they give to everyone. So you, like, their motivation, their potential, like it's crazy. They can do whatever they want with the mindsets that they have.
Speaking of giving, you guys give up a lot of your time to come and help out with our events. So just want to thank you for that while we're here.
Appreciate it. And I know that the newer people of the community really appreciate it. So thank you.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you. We our purpose is always to help others. It's who we are. It's what we love doing, and you guys have given us that platform. You guys have put us in a direction where we can't go back. It's not who we are. And we can't unsee it, and we love giving back, and it is the most joyous thing for us. And so now, I think when we look at our future and our direction, as long as we're helping others, as long as we're changing lives, as long as we're giving back more than we get, that's where we want to be.
I love it. And one last little thing we nearly forgot to touch on. We had to sell that dog. We had to sell a couple of puppies and kittens and dogs. Had emotional attachment as well, family, brother, etc. How hard is it? Because the reason you guys have elevated so much is cash and equity, I think, is a really good learning. I tell you, cash and equity are not the same thing. The average family all get 1, 2, if they're lucky, 3 properties, and they cap out unless they earn more money, right? We've taught people to see through that bullshit, to go every now and then you can sell one to reduce debt across all of them to buy 2, sell 2 to buy 4. How hard was it to let go of those assets, those emotional connected assets? And is it worth it now that you have let go to see where you're headed together? Because to me, I think for you, knowing the story, it's kind of a legacy piece in honor of, in some aspects. That's how I view it personally, without telling you guys. But how hard was it to let go, and is it worth it? For people that are sitting at home and going, oh, I've got my old house and it's an investment, or me and my brother, like, how hard is it to let go? And if you do, because you've done it, is it worth it?
It's extremely difficult. It was a pipe dream that I never thought would eventuate to possibility. Truthful, I would have held onto that property to the day I died. Didn't care if I'd paid it out. It was a resting place in my heart, and it was a comfort zone that I knew that it wasn't critical to life and death that I'd sold it. Okay. But you were going to hang on to it until death. And I was going to hang on to it. Yes, because the emotional attachment was there as the property. And it was working with the team, it was working with Anthony, with Taryn, with where we could be and what the opportunities opened up with that, but it was up to me. It wasn't a you must, but this was the recommendation. In order for you to be here, in order for you to look at your future, look at the windscreen, not the rear vision mirror, to see where you need to go. If you do this, it unlocks a world of opportunity. So we had to work through a bit, I had to swallow a lot, and I had to do a lot of internal reflection to work out and go, what it is about the property, what am I holding on to, and what do I need to let go of? Okay. And being the resting place where I last saw my brother after he died, it was his car, because he passed away in his car and his car was in the shed. It wasn't the house I hung on to, it was the car. And when I could psychologically work through that, when I could work that the house is just a house, remove your emotional attachment, you've got the car. That's
So you've got the car?
I've got the VL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VL turbo, it's only got the single spinner, but it's got the RB30.
RB30?
T3, T4 hybrid turbo.
Don't sell that.
No.
Are you doing it up or preserving it? Or
doing it up. It goes in for a computer and everything in January.
Okay.
Yeah. So once I worked through that with the team, it was like, why am I not selling this? I'd actually, the emotional toll was washed away. I felt cleansed knowing that was his. That was his, it'll always be his. And I get the pride and joy to drive that, to work on it. The house, sell that dog. Yeah. And that was a liberating moment. So when I'd come to terms with that,
and other people would say, oh, but you could have sold the car and kept the house, because the house is going to go up in value, the car. But what do you
Yeah, I know it was a classic, but what do? But I can hold on to that car; it'll always be mine. I sell that house, I can make more money. I can fulfill a dream that we've created together. What was in his name.
I was
by
going to
selling
say, you
that
and your
house.
brother obviously had a dream and a plan as well, right? Building something together. So you can build that larger now?
I can take his dream and fulfill it. I can build so much more with that there. Together with our finances, selling that house unlocked a world of opportunity. And when we sold that house, we just bought our biggest sale, our biggest purchase yet. So by selling that house, we're now able to settle on our biggest purchase with Infinity yet.
And how much was that?
1.1 million.
Damn. It's pretty good.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Made possible because of the team, because of the community, because of you guys work with us. You don't just give us something and send us on our way, but you work through us, you change our lives, and you work in everyday parts of our lives. You give us a structure, give us a direction, and the team goes, hey, we're with you 100% of the way. And that's what's made it possible, because it's transformational, not transactional.
Love it. I say it all the time, and so it takes people a long time to understand. Sadly, not all, but a lot of my industry, our industry, is transactional. There's very few. It's limited. There's lots of good experts out there too, but there's only a few of us in our industry that are transformational. Most are transactional, and that's every industry, right?
A big dream that you and your brother had too was to own a house in the Gold Coast, which we've got a few now. So I think, talking about, building his legacy and following through with that, we've done that.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about this.
Just before the podcast, we're just having that discussion.
Okay, well, watch this space. Well, guys, I want to thank the team for doing an amazing job and not just being staff and actually being friends and caring and passionate and all that. And I do, again, on behalf of the whole community, want to thank you guys for actually embracing what we do and helping others, because you are very generous with your time. We truly, deeply appreciate it. I know it's very valuable to the community, not so much back, but to the other people around you that you can help lead. And for people at home tuning into this who aren't part of the community, check them out on socials. You see some tags, you see their links. Go and follow them. They're real people. They're on a real journey, just like you. We all face the same bullshit. We're all struggling with the same things in life, or some are more severe than others, but we're all going through our own shit. You don't know what someone's going through. So especially this festive season, holiday, New Year season, put your fucking trolley back. Be kind. Be nice to people. You don't know what they're going through. And just, guys, give unconditionally, and you do, and the rewards are there, and then you're in a position to be able to give back from the knowledge. Because there's one thing you can't take off people, and it's knowledge. And once you got that knowledge, you can give it to other people. So thank you, guys. That's it. Thank you so, so much. We appreciate you. And, guys, we'll do a round two of this because I want to see where we end up in maybe 6 months or so, maybe when he's living on the Goldie. Outside of that, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. I think we all need to do a bit of a see ya.
See ya.
See ya. See ya.